If you were online in the 2000s, this is your childhood. If you missed it, this is your chaos you never had to survive. And if you only know the internet from your phone, buckle up. In a time before Wi-Fi, before smartphones, before TikTok hijacked your attention span, this is what you had, and you were happy with it. The sound of your modem screaming into the void, the fear of someone picking up the house phone, that's a feeling you will never forget. Having the patience of a monk, waiting for one picture to load, pixel by pixel. This wasn't just the internet, this was survival. Welcome to the Nostalgia Archive. This is what memories sound like. Getting online in the 2000s was an event. You didn't just connect, you committed. Step 1, click connect on AOL. Step 2, brace for that ungodly dial-up screech. It was a mix between fax machine torture and robot indigestion. Step 3, pray your mom doesn't pick up the phone and ruin it all. Because if someone called the house while you were online, it didn't just freeze, it exploded. Gone, disconnected, goodbye, start over, damn. All because some telemarketer thought your mom needed a subscription to ZooBooks. And let's talk about those free AOL CDs. You could get one almost anywhere. Blockbuster, Walmart, grocery stores, or just in your mailbox. They were everywhere, like the plague, but shinier. 30-day trial, we had 30 of them. Just keep reinstalling, and boom, free internet for months. We all became mini scammers without even knowing it. You didn't have Safari back then. Firefox? Google Chrome. What is that? The only browser you had back then was Internet Explorer, a big lowercase e. It was turtle slow, and it crashed more than drunk drivers. But yet, you still opened that E with your whole chest, like it was a VIP pass to the future. But didn't it feel like it? Back when you really thought cars would be flying in 2012. You're not the only one, my guy, but still, you have to hold this L. You'd click a link, wait 30 seconds, then maybe get a web page. It didn't feel like it though. You'd just get to spin an hourglass of death and a frozen screen. And let's talk about the toolbars. You were surfing through Yahoo, Ask Jeeves, Weatherbug, and 5 other toolbars you never downloaded on purpose. You had so many toolbars stacked across the top of the screen, your actual browser window was like the size of a sticky note. And your home page, hijacked. One wrong click, and now it's permanently locked to coolmathgames.biz.ru. or some fake download site with flashing red buttons and dancing hamsters. And no matter how many times you changed it back, that cursed site always returned. Like a demon came with that free trial. And it probably did. Still, you used it with a smile on your face because you had no other choice. Internet Explorer wasn't a browser, it was a hostage situation. And if you were fancy, you downloaded Netscape once just to see what the hype was, then never opened it again. Being online back then felt like walking into a trap. You didn't browse the web, you dodged it. The second your homepage loaded, bam, pop-up, another one, then a pop-up under, then one that made your mouse disappear. And you didn't have ad blockers, you had hope. Half the pop-ups were screaming in bright red. Congratulations, you've won a free iPod Nano. No, you didn't. You won 36 viruses and your dad's eternal disappointment.
Why'd you let your dad down?
There were so many fake X buttons, you had to develop pop-up intuition. Click the wrong one, now you're downloading a free slot machine from a website written entirely in German. And somehow, in the middle of all that chaos, you still made time for chat rooms. AOL Instant Messenger, MSN, Yahoo, pick your poison. You all made cringe screen names like XXX, Dragon Master XXX, or Skater Chick 2003, and yes, SK8. And went into chat rooms with complete strangers like it was normal. ASL, that was the magic phrase. Age, sex, location. You lied. Everyone lied. And somehow that was totally fine. There was no profiles, no selfies, no voice chats. Just a screen name, a font color, and a whole lot of mystery. There was no quick check online. If you wanted internet time, you had to plan it. Like a heist. You warned the whole house in advance. Don't touch the phone, I'm going online. Your mom would yell, only for 30 minutes. I'm expecting a call. And you lie. I just need to feed my Neopets real quick. You weren't quick, and your Neopets weren't starving. Every page you loaded took years. First the banner, then the blurry photo, then the text. If you were lucky, you'd sit there watching the image sharpen, pixel by pixel, like a magic trick, run by sloths. And if you accidentally hit back, gone, all of it, start over. Sometimes you type in a URL wrong, just one letter off, and end up in some cursed corner of the internet you weren't supposed to see. And you slammed the monitor off like that was gonna erase the evidence. The stress, unmatched. All you wanted to do was check your away message and maybe play a flash game. Now you're sweating like you're erasing crime scene footage. You weren't just browsing the web, you were dodging landmines with dial-up speed. LimeWire, Kazaa, FrostWire. These weren't just programs, they were digital bootleg arenas. You searched for that one T-Pain song, downloaded 12 versions, one was real. The rest were viruses, weird remixes, or that creepy Bill Clinton audio clip. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Yeah, you know the one. And once you finally had the file, you burned it to a CD like it was a sacred scroll, labeled in Sharpie, Eric's Volume Mix, Volume 3. Then you pulled out your Sony Discman and shoved that CD in and hoped to God it didn't skip when you walked. If you were feeling rich, you had the skip protection model. Otherwise, don't even think about running with that thing in your pocket. One wrong step and your song was done. You weren't hackers, but you sure felt like it. Everything about the internet back then was clunky, loud, slow, but it was yours. Flash games, MySpace layouts, random forums about stuff you barely remember now. You could go online at 6 p.m. and suddenly it's midnight, and you spent 4 hours customizing your top 8 friends list. By the way, whatever happened to Tom? There was no influencers, no brands engaging with you, no algorithm trying to optimize your time. It was just you, a glowing screen, in a world that felt new. You didn't have iCloud. You had floppy disks. You didn't have Spotify. You had LimeWire, CDs, but you made it work. And somehow, that made it better. You survived dial-up, you dodged viruses, you downloaded entire discographies through peer-to-peer warfare. You weren't just online, you were in the trenches. This is Nostalgia Archive. You remember, we document. Hit subscribe if your mom ever yelled at you for tying up the phone, because this isn't just the past, it's the internet that raised us.